This is Gemara and Eruvin Daf Mem Hey, the learning for this week, the week of the Aseret Tshuva, sponsored as Chus for Shem Yisrael Chaim Ben Yehudis, as well as, of course, all our Chaylim Yudamir Ben Yikir Men of Bechayim Rav Chanita Chaim Ben Tzar Yisrael Simon Yizleit Tzar Baskanaz Basim Chaisara Sar Chaim Sarasi Yisrael Ben Mindal the President Shavlei Shem Basami Shavei Ben Yichar Volav Ben Yitri Ben Ibn Chan Rezel Chaim Nachman Ben Mindal Besar Shar Chali Yisrael. We pick it up on the bottom of Mdal and Mabez. We started the Gemara yesterday. And let's pick it up again. Again, just one last reminder, in case there's ever any issues, please feel free to reach out. But of course, everything gets fixed slowly. YouTube, the podcast, as well as Torah anytime. We shouldn't have issues. But in case there are, hopefully everyone will find the shir when they need it. It says the Gemara, Memdalim Abeis, we're discussing Tchom. We're discussing an idea called Muvla B'toichat Tchom, that it's swallowed up literally. We had in the Gemara, Mandalim and Beis, we had a machlekes Rabba and Rav Simi Bar Chia. So I'll just read that again. Starting from the Gemara, we'll just get a running start. It says the Gemara, what does it mean that you're within the Tchom? Kilo Yatz, as if you never left. Because again, we said in the Mishnah that when you leave Bershos, we're going to discuss today what exactly that means. It's as if you did not leave. So says the Gemara, what does it mean you're b'toichat Tchom? Amar Rabba Hachikamar, I'm b'toichat Tchom Shaloi. You're still within your 2,000 amois. It's as if you never left your house, Tommy. Says Gemara, Pshita. Of course, you're within your tchum. Of course, you never left. So then no, you would think no as soon as you get up to leave, and even though you didn't end up leaving the tchum, it's as if you did leave. Then no. So Rabbi's Yisayid, the idea of Rabbi is that as long as you're within your tchum, then it's as if you never left your house. If the tchum that Chazal gave you, meaning if your 2,000 amos that you have right now is muvla in B'seichat Shalom Shalai, is muvla, it's literally swallowed up within your original tchum of your house. Your house gets a 2,000 amos radius. Now you're wherever you are. Now you get a new 2,000 amos. If that new 2,000 amos is within your old 2,000 amos, which basically means it's 3,999 amos away from your house, as long as it's overlapping a little bit, then kilo yatsa mitchumai, then you could go all the way back to your house if you never left your house. Tremendous chiddush. Says Gemara, what is this machlokes? Says the Gemara, Marsar Avlas Tchum and Milsahi. That's Rav Sim Bar Chia, that you let us swallow it up. As long as your new tchum is swallowed up and is at some level within your old tchum, then that is enough. You retain your old tchum. Whereas Rabbi says, no, that's not enough. That's why Rabbi had to learn the case that you never left your original tchums. You don't agree with this concept. Again, the concept of the Havlah, meaning that as long as part of your new 2,000 amos is within your original 2,000 amos, whatever the case is, you had a new tchum because you were allowed to leave, etc., etc., then it's as if you go back to original tchum. So says the Gemara, says Abaye to Rabbi, you don't agree. What about the case Shabbos bin Ma'ara, someone who dwells, someone who's kind of shmisa, he makes his place of dwelling on Shabbos inside a cave. Arbaz alafim, that is 4,000 amos inside the cave. You actually can see Rashi at the bottom of the Amid draws a picture for us. That the cave walls cave in a little bit, literally, sorry for the pun. The cave walls go in a little bit, and therefore at the roof of the cave, it's less than 4,000 amos. And as you see in the picture, and as you see in Rashi, and there's two openings on either end of the cave. Again, inside the cave, it's 4,000. There's an opening at the two tops. There's a wall at the top, and there's an opening that's less than 4,000 amos. Loi nimsa, says the Gemara, Loi nimsa, does it not come out? They could walk the entire area and outside 2,000 amos. How's that going to work? So Rashi explains, since each entranceway gets its own 2,000 amos. You go out the right door, you get 2,000 amos. You go to the left door, you get 2,000 amos. Now those two entranceways have this diameter of 2,000 amos, which intersect in the middle. You know those pie graphs? I think it's called a pie graph. I'm not sure, actually, not a pie, circle graph, whatever it's called. Then you have this intersecting area in the middle. So that intersecting area makes it as if it's one big tchum, because each one is muvla in the other one. Then the halacha is that you get 2,000 amos along the whole outside of this pit, outside of this cave. So we see clearly that this Brisa seemingly holds that we say muvla, we say that one tchum is muvla swallowed up in the other. Amarle Rabbi responded, "Lo shani law. Did I not teach you? What are you asking me? In that case, when Shabbos began, you were kind of shvisa, you accepted your place of dwelling inside the cave. Therefore, you got these two openings. Since each opening is swallowed up within the other 2,000 amos, therefore you get one larger area and you can leave either end 2,000 amos. But says Rabbi, if that wasn't the case, but rather it was like our Mishnah, when Shabbos began, you were in place A. Then you left and you're in place B. Now in that new place B, you get a new 2,000 amos because you're allowed to be there, but it happened on Shabbos. Now in that case, says Rabbi, I do not agree that we're going to say Muvla, that we're going to say that the new Tchum is swallowed up inside the old Tchum. Says the Gemara, you're telling me now, you're teaching me now, Rabbi, that when it's not swallowed up one in the other, then we do not see the rule of Muvla, moving on to Memheyam and Aleph. But tonight we learn to the Mishnah, Rabbi Lazar Aimer. Shtayim, if it's two amos outside, two people, Yikane, Shayim Yikanes, Gimel, Lo Yikanes. Rabbi Lazar learned that if it's two amos outside the city, if that was the case of the walls and the imaginary people, and they created this bechitza up until the city, they just missed. So close, but no, you're two amos off. Said Rabbi Lazar, within two amos, you're allowed to move in. 3 amos, you're not allowed to move in. My love, why not? Rabbi Lazar let me damar vu be'emson. That you're in the middle, that every person, Varba Amos Yavlu Rabbanan. Chazal gave you Dalit Amos, 4 Amos, you're smack in the middle. You get 2 on one side, you get 2 on the other side, and therefore, you're going to be allowed to enter back into the city. Kiman Mavlan Dami. Therefore, anytime you find yourself within 2 Amos of the city, it's as if it's Mavla. Now, this din of Rabbi Lazar, Vika Amar Yikanis, and he said that on Shabbos you can be allowed to enter back into the city as long as you get within 2 amos. Alma, so what do we see from Rabbi Lazar? Even though this is on Shabbos. On Shabbos you created those imaginary human walls. On Shabbos you got within 2 amos of the city. On Shabbos we said Muvla, Alma, Vlas, Chomim Milsi. So we see, not like you Rabbi just taught us. You Rabbi just taught us that we do not say Muvla when it happens on Shabbos. You see clearly that you do. Amalei Rabbi Archanala Abaye. You're asking from Rabbi Lazar, Lemar Amar Lein, Deshmiya Limine, Demar. Yes, I'm asking you from Rabbi Lazar. You know why? Because you taught us. Arkan lo Rabbi Lazar. The Rabbanan only argue on Rabbi Lazar with regard to being in the middle of your 4 amos. El Dvar Rishos. That was only till optional matters. Aval Dvar Mitzvah, my delay. Chachamim were reminded by Dvar Mitzvah that you get these 4 amos that you snack in the middle. And therefore, yes, I'm asking you, Rabbi, that you see clearly from Rabbi Lazar that we yes say Muvla, and that's how the Gemara ends, seemingly right, Rav Ashi Bar Chia, seemingly concluding that Rabba was incorrect, and we would yes say Muvla, even on an Eruv, even on a Tchum that was created on Shabbos. Says the Gemara, 2 dots, about 10 lines down, Memhei Amid Aleph. So we said in the Mishnah that anyone that leaves to save someone, anyone who leaves to save from a flood, anyone who leaves to give birth, then you're allowed to return all the way back home, even if it's more than your Tchum. Says the Gemara, Vafilu Tuva, and even if you're very far away. Says the Gemara, 1 second, ask the Gemara, the Risha says, the Risha says you can only go back 2,000 amos. Seemingly, we see from the next case in the Mishnah that when you go all the way out to the midwife to give birth, she goes out 5,000 amos, she's allowed to come back. But why? The reason they're allowed to come back is because they can bring back their weapons. Well, my kushya, what exactly was your original question? Why are you asking me that the Mishnah says you can only go back 2,000 amos? What's your question? Maybe lahatzel, that when someone left to give birth, someone left to wage war, someone left to save from a flood, maybe there's different rules in that case. What exactly was your original question? Eli kasha kasha. This was the following sequence of events. This was the question. It's now we to the Mishnah. Originally, they did not move there the entire day. This goes back to the Mishnah and Rosh Hashanah. They say at the Shmaya that we mentioned yesterday, learning about Rosh Hashanah right after Rosh Hashanah. That when they went to be Ma'aber, they went to testify in the new month, they would stay there the entire day, they would not go back home. His kin of Gamliel Azakin got up and he made a takan, he made an enactment, then no, they get a new tchum, they get 2,000 amos in every direction because we're afraid that people aren't going to come to testify the new moon if they're stuck in their place for the whole Shabbos. Not only that, even a midwife that goes to give birth, that goes to eat in a birth, is someone goes to save from from an army, uminanar, from a river, minam from ruins, from a falling wall, minadleka, from a fire, harehen ka'anshi ya'ir. A special chiddush, they get the din of the people in that city, meaning they get 2,000 amos wherever they want to go, and they're not confined to their Dalet Amos. Besides the Marvis Sulai, what are you telling me? You only told me that those cases, you're telling me they only get 2,000 amos. This was our question. The Brisa seemingly indicates you only get 2,000 amos, even in the case of saving. But our Mishnah says, you can go all the way back. You know I can go all the way back. That when you have your weapons, you're allowed to bring your weapons all the way back home, even though it's more than 2,000 amos. The time like going to the Brisa. Originally, they would go to battle, and after the battle was over, they would take their weaponry and they would leave it at the last house of the city, meaning they would not bring it all the way back home. But you know what happened? The enemy realized that they're going to drop all their weapons. Now they're vulnerable. They got no weapons left. So the enemy ran after them and so then the Jews realized, oh no, the enemy is coming back. So they went back to that house to go get their weapons. They pursued them. They pushed each other as they tried to get their weapons. And they killed each other. More than the enemy killed. And so at that moment, what do they say? They made an act that you're allowed to bring your weapons all the way back to your house, even though it might be more than 2,000 amos. When the Jews were victorious, then there's nothing to be afraid of. They would store their weapons in the last house of the city. That was what the Bryce was talking about. That was after a victory. There's no longer an enemy. When the guy were victorious, be nervous that as we were retreating, they might come attack us again, and that's when they're allowed to take their weapons all the way back home. And before we continue, let's just point out this is one of the big Marakaimis that they come from, that Hatzalah members are allowed to go home after a call. They're allowed to drive their car home. Why? Because they might need it for another call, or similarly that they patterned after this Gezira, they were afraid that you're not going to go in the first place. Like we see over here, if we don't let you bring your weapons back home, if we don't let you come home after Yom Ma'aber the month, it's the country of Gamliel, we're afraid that next time you're not going to go to do it. Therefore, they let you come back home. Similarly, by the Hatzalah members, they're allowed to drive back home, which is an incredible chiddush if you think about it. They're doing Yisuri Deraisa as they drive. Yeah, we allow them to drive back home so that if there's another call, so that in the future as well, they're willing to go take a call on Shabbos, even though, and not to get stuck, out in who knows where. So, Amar Vidam Rav, let's say the Goyim lay siege, they don't come to kill us, they just come to take away our food, take away our money, says the Gemara. You do not go to battle with them. And as well, you're not mechal Shabbos to battle with them. Similarly, we learned, that's when they're coming for your cash. They're coming for your cash. Don't go fight them. Why do you risk your life just for money? If the guy come to kill you, then and then you're allowed to go out with your weapons, and then you're allowed to yasi Shabbos. That is the number one. So if Goyim are just coming for your money, got to give up your money. Don't be mechal Shabbos. If the Goyim are coming to take our life, then we fight. If it's a city that's near a port town, they're not coming for lives. They're just coming for straw. They're coming for stubble. And still we're going to fight them. Why all of a sudden if it's a port town in Milchal Shabbos? So Rashi says it's more of a strategic place. We're afraid if they take this over, then they could get in further. And other Mefarshim in the year, he says that no. That once, they see that they can get your money, the next thing they're going to attack your lives, and therefore you're allowed to defend yourself. Amar Rav Yosef, Rav Menumi, Amar Rav Nachman, Bavel, and the city of Bavel is Kiram Suchel Tzapar, is similar to a city that is near the port Damya. The Targuma, and then they learned was referred to in Naradai, the city of Naradai. Darshav this time, the meaning Beiri, Maidach Seva, the meaning of the pasuk. They told David, saying, David Amelech in a Plishtin Nilchamim Bekila. The Plishtim are coming to wage war in Kila. Vehima Shaisim as Agranes, and they're depleting the granaries. Tana Keila Ira Smuchel Sabaraisa. This Keila that they were attacking was a city that was near the port. And the guy didn't come to kill them, they just came for their straw, came for their money. With the Chsev, as the Pasuk says, that they're drinking up and they're destroying their granaries. Uksev, and the Pasuk continues and says, Veishal David Bashem. And David Amelech asked Hashem, he asked the Lord, Letumim Lemar. Hey, look, like Casey Plishtim, should I go and wage war and fight the Plishtim? Vayemer Hashem el David, and David responded, Lech, like he said, yes, go wage battle. Vivlishin, Vaishias Akila, and you'll be victorious. Michael Mibaili says, what was your question? What exactly, not your question, what was David HaMelech asking the Urim V'Tumim? If David HaMelech was asking Shari Aser, is it permitted to go to battle? Are you allowed to risk your life in such a case? The Bezdin of Shul Ramasi is still around, so why would David HaMelech go and ask the Urim V'Tumim? You should just go ask the Bezdin. Ella, rather, what was David HaMelech asking? David HaMelech was asking, will he be victorious or not? They cannot mean that is meduyak, that is precise. That you're going to be victorious and you take over the place called Kila, Shema Mina, and that is derived from David HaMelech. Just very interesting is that Taisus over here, in one moment, Taisus here points out, the second Taisus Ahmed, Taisus says, Im Taimar. Once the Gemara says that what was David HaMelech asking for the Urim V'Tumim? David HaMelech was just asking if he's going to be victorious. Didn't ask if he's allowed to go to battle. Says Taisus in Kain. How do you know from here that you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos? Maybe it was during the week. And David HaMelech was just asking, am I going to emerge victorious? Taisus here says a very nice answer. Says Taisus, no, that since they're going out, it says Milchamim, they're going to battle, it must mean that they're risking their life. And when it comes to risking your life, you're not allowed to risk your life during the week and money. So even if they're risking their life during the week and money, that would also show that you can risk your life and you could wage war even on Shabbos. Very interesting idea of Taisus. Let's continue. Says the Mishnah Memeyam and Al Mishashav Aderech, someone who's sitting and dwelling in the road. Va'amad v'ra rehu ir samach lier. And all of a sudden it's Shabbos. He's kind of shvis in the middle of the road. And then he says, wait, I'm right next to the city. Is he allowed to go into the city now? Seemingly he has 2,000 amas to every direction, but is the city going to be allowed to go throughout the whole city? Says the Mishnah. He did not have in mind the city. He didn't know he was near a city when Shabbos began. Says Rameir, he can't go into the city. He gets his regular tchum, and he cannot go into the city. Says as Rashi points out, blame Miskavein. Look at the Rashi, the first white line. Rashi says, he didn't know when it got dark. And didn't have intention to dwell within the city, only in this place. Rav Yehuda Aimer, finishing off the Mishnah, Rav Yehuda come along and he says he could enter into the city. Rav Yehuda, there was a story, and indeed Rav Tarfon entered into the city. Says the Gemara, Tani, we went to the Brayso, Rav Yehuda Rav Tarfon was going on the road, and it got dark. So he went down, he pulled over to the side of the road, he went to sleep. Lishachris comes morning, and what does he realize? He finds the shepherds. Rabbi, said Rav Tarfon, the city's right here, you're sleeping right outside. Come into the town. He went into the city. Sorry, they said, Rabbi, so he went in and he went into the Bismedrash and he gave share the entire day. And that was seemingly a proof that we see that even though he did not intend to go into the city, but he went into the city nonetheless once he realized that he was within his techum. Says Gemara, Amr Lai Misham Raya, what's the proof? Shema Beliba Isa, maybe either it was Belibai, maybe Rav Tarfon really knew about the city. Where do you see the story? Not. And secondly, maybe the Beis Medrash part of the city was within his 2,000 amos. He's 500 amos out, so he's another 1,500 amos into the city, and the Beis Medrash was in there. So the fact that he went there is not necessarily a proof. That's something Gemara concludes that we do not necessarily have a proof whether you can enter into the city and get the whole city, whether you just get your regular 2,000 amos. Says the Mishnah, concluding similar case, someone goes to sleep on Friday night on the road. He doesn't know it get dark, meaning he doesn't even know that Shabbos began. What is the din that you get 2,000 amos? You de facto, you automatically are considered to be kind of shvisa in that place you went to sleep, and then automatically you get 2,000 amos every direction. But Chachamim all you get is your Dalet Amos and nothing else. Rav Lazar Aimer, not only do you get your Dalet Amos, you sound familiar from the top of the Amud, you're considered to be smack in the middle of those Dalet Amos, 2 Amos in either side. Rav Yehuda Aimer, you go whatever direction you want. You have 4 Amos, choose your direction. Rav Yehuda admits, once you decide, I'm going right, you can't go left anymore. You only get then in that direction. There's 2 people. We'll see a picture in a moment that one tchum is within the other one's tchum. They could go and they can eat together in the middle. Ubelvan, moving on to Memeyam and Beis, Belvad Shal Yoitzi, Zeh Miteich Shaloi, L'Teich Shal Memad Shal Yoitzi, Zeh Miteich Shaloi, L'Teich Shal Chaverai. One person cannot take food into his friend's rishos. As you see over here, the picture in front of you have two people, and each one has his Dalet Amos, and you see that they overlap in the middle, so they're allowed to go into the middle and eat together. However, as you see from the words Asr, you're not allowed to transfer food one to the other, because then you're effectively bringing food from your Eruv to a different Eruv. Says the Mishnah, let's continue the Mishnah, 2 lines to the top, by Yishlei there's three people, V'emsai Muvla B'neim, and the middle guy, his Eruv, his Muvla, is swallowed up in the other two Eruvim, who Mutter Imayim, he's allowed to eat from their food, V'em Yutar Imayim, and they are Mutter in his food. Shtayim Achitzainim, but the two outside guys, Achitzainim Asurin Zazah, they are forbidden one to another. Again, we'll see a picture in 1 second. Number of Shimon, Lamad V'Daimeh. To what is this comparable? Shalish Chatzeris Apsuchas. You have three Chatzeris that are opened up. Zulazu. They should sound familiar. Apsuchas, they're just around. They open. They're just Rabim. Irvu Shtayim Imem Soyis. Let's say the two outside guys make an Irv with the middle guy. He Mutar Sima. He's Mutar with the outside guy. They Mutar Sima. And the outside guys are Mutar with the middle guy. However, Shtayim Chitzayinais. Asum Zum Zu. They're also to each other, as they do not make an Irv one with the other. Here's what you see: you have three people, and you see that each one has his Dalet Amos, and the middle guy's Dalet Amos overlap both of the two outside guys. So he's not eat with them, the outside guys can eat with the middle one. However, the two outside guys cannot eat with each other. And over here you see the case of three different Rishuyos. Over here you see a case of three different Chatzeros. And as you see that they made an Eruv, so the outside guys can deal with the middle guy, and the middle guy can deal with the outside guys. However, the two outside guys cannot deal with each other. Says the Gemara, Rava had the following question. What exactly does Rav Yochanan ben Nuri hold? Says the Gemara, Misvar Kosavar, does he hold Chavsei Afker Koinim Shvisa? Again, who is Rav Yochanan ben Nuri? Let's remind yourself, it said here in the Mishnah, second line in the Mishnah, as you see in front of me, Rav Yochanan ben Nuri, he was the first opinion in the Mishnah that says if you don't know about it, you're sleeping, and you don't know that it became Shabbos, what do you have? You still get 2,000 Amos. It's still considered that you're kind of Shvisa, even without knowing about it. That was the opinion of Rav Yochanan ben Nuri. So why does Rav Yochanan ben Nuri hold you could be kind of Shvisa without knowing about it? Does he hold that objects, hefker objects, unreleased objects, automatically could acquire a dwelling place, and therefore they get 2,000 amos? Ubedinu, and really did like with Kalim, and really you could have even done a case about Kalim utensils. So why do you say a case about people? Teaches you the opposite chiddush of the Rabbanan. Because what do the Rabbanan hold? Even though you could say oil v'neir, kaneh, maybe you would think if this guy was awake, you would get 2,000 amos. So the fact that he was sleeping, you would also get 2,000 amos. Kamash Malan Delay. So the chiddush of the Chachamim is that you do not get the 2,000 amos. The Nuri holds both people, and even Kalim Chavsei Avker would be kind of 2,000 amos kind of shvisa. That's one way of learning the machlekes. Really, ownerless items do not get their dwelling place. Why are we here? Does the sleeping person get 2,000 amos? Because if he was awake, he could get the place. So too if he's sleeping. I'll bring you a proof. We have rain that falls in Erev Yantiv. You get 2,000 amos in any direction to carry that rain. What happens if the rain falls on Yantiv itself? It's considered the tchum of whichever person picks it up. So you're going to tell me that Rabbi Yochanan Nuri holds ownerless item except a place of money. That's very good. That's going to be Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, and that's the reason why when the rain falls on Erev Yom Tif, it gets 2,000 amos, because it's kind of the shvisa. It acquires its dwelling place. The mere fact that the rain is sitting on the floor, it's a chefsei afker, it's an ownerless item that acquires its dwelling place. But if you're going to tell chefsei afker ain't kind of shvisa, that it does not get its dwelling place on money. So who is going to be the time of this price that said that on Erev Yantiv the ring gets 2,000 amos, and on Yantiv itself it goes by whoever picks it up? Says the Gemara, Abaye was sitting and saying this teaching. Perhaps what's your proof? Maybe the case in that brisa was that the rain is next door to the city, and the people in that city on Erev Yontiv saw the rain and they had das on it, and that's the reason why the rain gets 2,000 amos, but not necessarily because Yochanan ben Nuri holds that chefsei hafker, that ownerless items could acquire their dwelling place. Amar lei. He responded, Lo Salgadaitach, no, you're incorrect. It's not learned to the Mishnah. Or shall Yachid, a pit of a singular person, Karagli Yachid goes according to his feet. Shall I say here and according to his city? I'm sorry, shall I say here, if it's a pit that belongs to the city, Karagli say here goes to the people in that city. Shall I Bavel, it's a pit of the people that go up to be Oila Regel. Karagli Amamale, like the feet of those people. Vitanya, and we learned in a Brisa. Partial Shvatim, that when you have a bar of Shvatim, they get 2,000 amis. So what's going on over here? A moment ago you taught me that if you have a pit, it goes by his feet, it goes by the city's feet. Then you teach me that if it's a pit of a Shevet, it gets 2,000 amis. Kashana Dodi, that's a contradiction. So no, you see that according to one Brisa, the second Brisa, you know why it gets 2,000 amis? Because it's Hafker, and it's kind of its own Shvisa. It acquires its own dwelling place, and that's the reason why it gets 2,000 amis in every direction, by the bit of the Shvatim. Whereas the first Brisa is Rabbanan. The Chafsei Hafker do not kind of Shvisa, do not acquire their dwelling place. Therefore, it just goes by the same feet of that person. This is what Rav Safra said. This is what he answered. So he said, okay, very nice. Why do you say from it itself? The case of the rain itself, we could have answered from there itself, you could have proved your point. Because if you're going to tell me, like you said, that maybe the rain is right next door to the city, and the people in the city saw it, so why does it say that it gets 2,000 amos in any direction? It should have just said that goes by the people's feet of that city. From the fact that it said it gets 2,000 amos itself is a raya, like Rav Yochanan Nuri, that Chafsei Hafker kind of Shvisa. That's how the Gemara concludes that Rav Yochanan Nuri does hold Chafsei Hafker, these ownerless items will acquire a dwelling place, and the Chum disagree. And we have two proofs. We have one proof from the Stira and the Brises, as well we have a proof from the fact that it said that the rain goes and gets 2,000 amos. We'll pick it up for the two dots in tomorrow's Daf.